Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you so much guys. Thank you. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about studying in Canada and things you need to know before you apply to a Canadian university or college. Alright. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to all those who are subscribers to my channel, and thank you so much to those who are watching my videos, and thank you so much for those who keep sharing my videos. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Without you, I will not be here. Thank you guys. And again, guys, I want to encourage you to also check the new immigration law for Germany and Italy. All right, there is a new law for international students. All right, please go to check the necessary websites and you check the information out. All right, it's very important for you. And today I'm going to be talking about Canada. Before you apply to Canadian schools or universities, there are a couple of things you need to know. All right. First, I remember last time a colleague, let me say a viewer, drew my attention to something. In one of my videos, I talked about Palaki University. Please, to study a medical program at Palaki University in Czech Republic, it is not 6,000 euros. Okay, it was a mistake. I tried to check it out. So the money is close to 11,000 euros. So note that down. All right. And for those who have been asking if they can study in the European Union and also work at the same time, yes, it is very possible. If and only if you have the working or the residence permit, all right, because that is a document you need in order to study in and work in the European Union, all right, in countries found in the European Union. So now, before you apply to a Canadian school, there are a couple of things you need to know, and I will start with the first one, which is the application process. The application process is one. You also need to know the cost of studying in Canada, all right? You also need to know the documents required for you to study in Canada, all right? And you also need to know where and when to submit the documents, all right? They are very important. And again, you also need to know information about the housing, all right? So now I'm going to start first of all with the documents you need before you apply to a Canadian universities. A couple of people, or let me say a majority of us, or young men and girls, do not know some of these things. So I'm going here to demystify the process, all right? Now, there are a couple of documents you need before you apply to a Canadian university. First, you need a valid passport. Before you do an admission in a university or college, I was talking to one of my viewers. I also believe he is one of my subscribers too. He was telling me he hasn't done his passport. You cannot be looking for an admission without having the international traveling document, which is the passport. Okay, always make sure you get the passport first. And secondly, make sure your academic transcripts, all right? The transcript is very important more than the attestation. It's just that most of us, we do not know some of these things, all right? Before you apply to a school in Canada, make sure your transcript is in order. And again, before you apply for a school in Canada, make sure your proof of sufficient funds, all right? Because there are some universities to apply. When you want to apply, they will say show proof of sufficient fund. That is, you show proof of an account with money inside, or you provide a bank statement to show that you have money, all right, to show your transactions and the rest. All right, you also need to show proof of your English proficiency test exam. All right, in that case, if you have been studying in an English institution for the past 10 years, you can collect a document from there to present to your Canadian university or your desired university. All right, but if you have been working in an English speaking country, let me say if you are in Australia and you want to apply for a school in Canada, of course it is very important, all right, you can show tell the officials that you are from Australia, or if you have an Australian nationality, all right, you are free to apply without the proficiency. For my African brothers, those coming from Africa, Asia, and some other European countries, all right, and other continents, you need to show proof of an English test exam. In this case, you are showing them the intensive English language testing system, or the test of English as a foreign language. Okay, these are the documents you need to satisfy the English proof. Okay, and again, you also need to show proof of sponsorship. In that case, if you didn't show let me say if you didn't show them that you have a bank statement, all right, you can show them a sponsorship letter from your sponsor or whosoever is doing that. All right, that is for the documents you need before you apply. And remember, when you are applying for a school, if you succeed to get the admission, all right, and you succeed to get the visa, when you are going into Canada, you will meet an officer, all right, from the Canadian Border Service Agency, all right, the CBSA, that is going to check all of these things. And remember, all the documents you use to apply for a university or a college in Canada, you also need to present them at the border or the point of entry. Okay, it is very important for you to note this. Again, you also need to know how the transportation functions in Canada. Transportation varies from province to province. All right, remember, in Canada there are provinces. All right, there are provinces. All right, it depends on where you are staying, and most of the time students will use the buses or the train. All right, some go to school by bicycle. Yes, if you have yours and you are not staying far, and if you can drive, or let me say you can ride the bicycle for long, it is very good for you. Always consider your study position or where you are living. All right, is it close to the university? Is always good, because experience have shown that those staying closer to the university is highly advantageous. Let me say, if you are staying close to your university, is highly advantageous for you. So always consider where you are staying and the duration and the period, the duration in which you are going to use to reach your university. Okay, and again, you also need to note the health insurance. Every student, or let me say every international in Canada, is entitled to a health insurance document, all right, or let me say a health insurance policy. The reason I'm saying this is because before you go to Canada, you also need to show the embassy or the diplomatic office that you have a valid health insurance. And remember, Canada is one of the countries where if you have a very good health insurance policy, you have an advantage, because as I know, Canada is a country where their health facility is highly developed. And again, remember, for those of you internationals who are looking for Canada as a destination, remember, if you are an international student and you graduate from a Canadian university with at least a master's degree, you are entitled to a working permit. That is the first condition. Again, their health insurance policy in Canada, let me say in Canada, is very highly advanced. All right, they have a lot of hospitals. You will be treated if you are sick in some hospitals for free. All right, so you have to note that too. Again, if you married, or if you are married and you are in Canada, all right, if your wife is coming over, if you finish your program and you are working, if your wife is coming over, your wife is entitled to a working permit. All right, so those are the advantages of Canada. You need to note that down. Again, that is about for the health insurance. All right, now you need to also note that there are community colleges in Canada and there are universities. Now, a lot of these community colleges are not to the level, or let me say, are not ranked according to the universities. All right, renowned universities, you have the University of Winnipeg, the University of Saskatchewan, the University of Manitoba, the University of Newfoundland. All right, there are a lot of them in Canada. There are a lot of them, Brook and all the rest. There are a lot of them. Remember, these universities, according to international rankings, they have a big, or let me say, they are highly qualified than the community college. So the thing I'm going to encourage you, yes, it is very easy to get an admission into a community college in Canada than a university, because if you are going in, for example, a master's student going in for a master's degree in Canada, you will be required in some universities like the University of Manitoba, you are required to look for a supervisor who is going to supervise their master's thesis. All right, that is where most international students have a problem, because if you want to apply for a master's degree in Canada, you must look for a supervisor, and you have to write some stuff to show him or her that this is what you are interested in. If he accepts, all right, you can now be given an offer or something, then you can now move to Canada. So it is usually difficult to get supervision like that, all right, because to write people through the email address is going to take a lot of time. So most people choose to go through the community colleges. And remember, when you apply through a community college, all right, and someone applies through the university, your chances of getting the visa at the embassy, you that applied for the community college, is very low compared to the person who applied for the university, all right, for a renowned university. Reason being that the university is highly recognized, all right, and if you guys show all documents related, or let me say required documents, this man, or if you can still get the visa, you know, everybody has the right to a visa, but the person who applied to the university is highly advantageous than you. You have to note that. So at times I will advise you, if you don't find a program in a university, apply to a community college. Okay, it's still another option. You can go through the college, and after that you can attend a university, or you can take a program in a university. It's still another option. Okay, so remember all of these things, and remember again, for those in Cameroon, the Canadian embassy, let me say, there is an office in Yaoundé, but they don't do the processing. All right, their documents will be sent somewhere in Africa. All right, for the processing to be done. All right, but remember, before you go to the embassy, don't go with any fake documents. If they realize your documents are fake, when they send your documents, your file to this African country where the process is done, your passport will not come back. Not that. All right, experience have shown that, or let me say, those who used to do that, they haven't regained their passport till date. All right, so you have to be very careful. Don't take fake documents and you are facing a diplomatic office. All right, it is not correct like that. If you don't have the required documents, look for a program and you apply for the one that suits your level. All right, so that is what I can say for now. Again, when you are applying for a school in Canada, remember, community colleges, the admission period for community colleges, at times most of them have 3 or 4 intakes. Let me say January, April, September, and December. All right, but for the universities, you will hardly find a program, or you will hardly find a university that has 3 or 4 intakes. In Canada, you will have 2 maximum or 3 maximum intakes per year. All right, some universities will take you for the January intake, while others will consider you for the September intake. It depends on which university. Again, now for course, all right, remember, for the cost in Canadian universities is very high. For you as an international, all right, if you are looking for a university in Canada to apply for, remember that you will be spending like 15,000 to 30,000 Canadian dollars a year. All right, that is not the fixed amount, that is the average. All right, I'm explaining this so that our parents or our sisters who do not know some of these things should understand. It is an average, which means that you can go to a university and the university says my tuition fee is $14,000 Canadian dollars. All right, you can go to another one and they say your tuition fee is 15,000 Canadian dollars. This is excluding accommodation and your feeding. All right, for your feeding and lifestyle, it depends. You can still pay like 400 to 1,500 Canadian dollars depending on where you are staying and the type of house or lifestyle you are living. All right, so you have to note all of these things. But for tuition fee, please remember that you will be spending like close to 15 to 30,000 Canadian dollars a year. All right, it is annual, because that is the amount of money you will always spend annually. Annual means a year, for those who didn't know. And again, you have to note that it is not fixed, please. It is not fixed, which means that it varies from university to university and from province to province. All right, so note all of these things, please. For those who like my video, or for those who have been watching, of course all my viewers like my video, please give this video a like, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, more videos will come on some of the things you need to know before moving to Canada. Please, if you cannot afford a fees of up to 14,000 Canadian dollars upward, do not apply for a Canadian university. Okay, because if you succeed to get the admission, and you also have to understand, when you succeed to get the admission, most of these universities will ask you to pay a tuition deposit. A school like Fonkwa College, all right, in Toronto, they will always ask you to pay at least 7,000 Canadian dollars as a deposit. So in case you didn't have this money, it is going to be a problem. There is no need having an admission where you cannot apply for the visa. And remember, until you pay this deposit before you can apply for the visa. All right, so always note all of these things. Please give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. All right, thank you so much guys for watching. In my next video, I'm going to be bringing you some of the best universities you can apply for in Canada. All right, and in subsequent videos, some of the best colleges will also show up in my channel where you can apply. All right, thank you so much guys, and remain blessed. Bye bye.